It's been widely accepted that the CMA guidance has been very unbalanced from the beginning. But today we're starting to hear from the report from Jonathan Kirk QC that it's not fair analysis, in his opinion, of the rights of consumers, businesses or insurers, and has actually been counterproductive to the rights of consumers. Most of all, it concluded that the CMA failed to consult sufficiently with the businesses and venues and couples involved to properly understand the industry and the complexities. Furthermore, we noticed that Jonathan Kirk QC's interpretation of the law is different in several places, further casting doubt on the validity of the CMA guidance. And to date, as far as we're aware, no cases have been to court, but one group has been in discussions with the CMA, and in the outcome, in the agreement that was reached on refunds in that case, the CMA actually contradicted their own advice. And it really demonstrated that the different cost base for different venue types has quite significant implications on potential refunds. So what's happened so far, and perhaps what happens next, is really important right now. We're aware 30th of April, that first statement from the CMA announcing that they will be doing a fuller investigation because they had been receiving complaints about the wedding industry. Their initial suggestion at that point is that no refunds should be given to couples if their contracts were frustrated due to coronavirus. What that opened up is the ability for insurance companies to refuse to pay out on any policies, on the basis that if no refunds would be due, there was nothing to claim for. On the 7th of September, the long-awaited further guidance came in the form of a statement. Now, a statement is something that the CMA issues when they haven't consulted, so it's not sort of set in stone in the way it might be if it was issued as their formal guidance. It was a statement. Quite why, with all of that time they had not properly consulted, and where they had consulted, they seemed to ignore the information that they were given, is perhaps what now needs to be looked into. At that point, the indication from the CMA is that perhaps a full refund wasn't appropriate, which I think everyone had accepted was the case already, but only direct costs could be deducted before calculating the refund. That then led to a flood of couples cancelling rather than postponing. They could see that seemed to be a really sensible option. And again, venues, suppliers were saying this is completely unfair, completely unbalanced. This isn't protecting the interests of the whole wedding ecosystem. So 30th of October today, we have now had this information being released from Jonathan Kirk, which throws a huge doubt over that CMA guidance. It's confirmation that those venues and suppliers and indeed couples that were going, this doesn't quite look right, that there is legal representation saying this doesn't look right. So what can you do? If you're a venue, there is very, very important work being done by the Wedding Venue Support Group, WVSG. If you haven't already joined them, and we know over 200 venues have, please go along to wvsg.org. It will help fund really, really important information. It's so important that the burden of the cost of this doesn't fall on one venue alone. This is something that everyone needs to be working together on to find the fair and correct solution. You will, as well as funding that important information, you'll also receive relevant information as it comes out. Suppliers, The best thing to do is just wait. Obviously, if your couples are happy and everything's going fine with refunds, postponements and so on, there's nothing to think about whether you're a venue, a couple or a supplier. But those that are having problems are perhaps in dispute with their couples. It's a matter of just waiting. This guidance is very specifically around venues, but the information that comes from it will reflect on what's going to be appropriate for suppliers as well. But at the moment, nothing is being funded specifically for suppliers. For couples, again, wait. It's not going to be sensible to be dashing off to court to try and resolve this. This has been a very expensive exercise to fully understand all of the situations involved. And I wouldn't want to be the couple having to fund a lawyer or the venue or suppliers defending that, and to be doing this repeatedly just doesn't make sense. So if you can, please just wait for the resolution. Again, this is just if you are in dispute for any reason. We hope that's not going to be the case, but if you are, just wait. If you are waiting for a refund, as a couple, please don't be surprised if there is now a delay. Understandably, venues and suppliers want to get that amount of the refund correct. They want it to be fair, reasonable and balanced. This is all they've been wanting all along. So please just wait for that. You may need to bear with them a little bit longer for them to sort out the correct amount. As ever, excuse me, our advice to couples is to postpone, not cancel. You're still wanting to get married. We are hoping you are still wanting to get married. So if at all possible, avoid these problems, avoid putting yourself in financial risk, avoid putting your venue and your suppliers at financial risk by cancelling. If at all possible, I know it's a really difficult situation, but please go with it. Our ecosystem needs to be fair and balanced. It needs to be fair for couples to give them the confidence to book. It needs to be fair for venues and for suppliers to give them the confidence to run their businesses without unreasonable, unfair, and perhaps most importantly, uninsurable costs. So we're really looking forward to seeing things now hopefully moving forward in a fairer way, and perhaps most importantly, the insurers taking some liability for these losses that couples, venues and suppliers are suffering at the moment. Thank you.